Last time I was at the beach, I decided to take my daughter Charlotte out past like where the breakers happen, like where the water's crashing. I was showing her it's a little calmer out here. We were just about there, and I thought we were there, and all of a sudden we had an early breaker come, right? And it hit us right as we thought we were in the safe zone. It washed and it just took us out. And at the time, it was all fine because she was okay. We were still together and all that, except I was wearing my hat and sunglasses at the time. And the hat went flying, and you could see it. It washed all the way up to the shore where the rest of the people were, and somebody grabbed it. And this was in the Pacific Ocean, by the way. My parents live in California, so we get to visit them pretty often, and so that was where we were. And so somebody grabs my hat. My dad grabs my hat out of the water, and I'm like, don't worry about the hat, because that's just my beach hat. I'm looking for my glasses, because these were my nice glasses. They were gone. They were in the Pacific Ocean somewhere. And so I took Charlotte back in, because that was a dumb idea, bad dad moment, and I got her all dried off and taken care of, and I went back out. I'm like, I'm finding these sunglasses. And I started searching around. Everyone there, my parents and my brother and sister-in-law and my family, they all thought I was crazy for searching for these glasses. But after about 10 minutes of searching, I found what I called the junk line, okay? This is where, for whatever reason, like the way that the tide was going, all of the stuff was collecting there. So there was seaweed, and there were cans, and there was trash, and there was all sorts of stuff in there. And so for about an hour, I went back and forth along the junk line in the Pacific Ocean, right along the shore at Will Rogers State Park, the beach right there. And I was just searching for like an hour. And at one point I came back and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to give it a little while longer because I know where this junk line is. And I'm going to find that junk line again. I'm going to leave it a little while longer. I go back out. I'm going. And then I step on something. And I go to bend down. I'm like, that felt like glasses. I go to bend down, and I get hit by a wave. And I'm like, oh, no, where'd it go? And then all of a sudden, I find it again, reach my hand down, pull out my sunglasses after an hour of searching in the Pacific Ocean. And I played it cool. I put them on, and I started backing up towards the shore. And then what did I do? Like when I got like closer to the sand, I turned around and ran. I'm like, check it out! I found my sunglasses, It was like an awesome, I'm one of those people, I hate losing stuff. But I love finding things, I don't know if you're with me. I absolutely love to find things. It's almost worth having lost it to begin with. I just absolutely love that feeling of coming up with something. Well, we are in the final part of our series on the parables, and we are approaching Christmas. So you're like, oh, we're continuing the parables right up to Christmas. This is like Christmas Sunday, Yes, absolutely. And this parable has a lot to do with Christmas. And you'll be wondering, when we're reading it, you'll be wondering, what does this have to do with Christmas? And I'll let you know by the time we're done. Maybe you can figure it out ahead of time if you're real sharp. But just be paying attention, because what is this parable, actually 3 parables in Luke chapter 15, what do they have to do with Christmas? Well, Jesus is heading towards Jerusalem, and his mission, like the centerpiece of his mission, has truly begun. Like he is heading towards the cross. We saw that Advent video about love. Like that's the theme of our Advent week of the month, right? It's love. And the video said Jesus loved us so much. He came to die. He came to die for us, and that is his mission. And so as we get to this chapter in Luke 15, these 3 parables, Jesus is heading towards Jerusalem. That mission has begun. He knows he's set his eyes on the cross, and it's really the big story of the Bible. That's what these parables are. Jesus stops, he tells us these 3 parables, and really he's capturing the overarching message of the whole Bible from beginning to end. And the Bible is a story about God. He has a relationship with us, and then he loses that relationship because we turned our back on him, and he wants it back. He lost something, and he wants it back. As Pastor Bob Shyrock from Oak Point Novi often says it, God lost something, and he wants it back. And so he tells these parables to teach us about that. Luke chapter 15, starting in verse 1. All right, the context, oftentimes, as we mentioned, we have to pay attention to the context of a lot of these parables because it's really the key to unlocking the deepest understanding. It says this in verse 1, now the tax collectors and sinners were all gathering around to hear Jesus. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, this man welcomes sinners and eats with them. So he's got this group of people far from